After the extended period of storm chasing we had in late June and into the very beginning of July, I took a bit of a break from heading out into the field. That wasn't really by choice though, as I unfortunately was dealing with a health condition that was being agitated by the extreme heat we were seeing every day. That is also a part of the reason that these videos are coming out 6 to 7 months after we initially recorded the footage. That break I mentioned though lasted about a week, and from what I remember, nothing too notable happened in our area during that period. However, by July 8th, I was back in the saddle and ready to get back out there, and July 8th was a perfect day to come back to storm chasing. Throughout much of the afternoon, widespread thunderstorms would impact most of the First Coast region, including some good lightning producing storms right outside of town. Settle in because we got a lot to cover today. Starting off with the morning issuance of the area forecast discussion, the synoptic setup would be more of the same in terms of what we had seen so far this summer. Influence from outside systems was relatively sparse, with the frontal boundary being positioned far off to our north along northern Georgia and Alabama. With that in mind, a majority of the forcing mechanisms to spawn showers and storms would once again be mainly up to the sea breezes. With a more southerly to southwestern steering flow in place, the forecast called for the Gulf Coast sea breeze to be the dominant one for the day, pushing the axis of thunderstorms closer towards the actual coast of the First Coast. Severe weather was not expected over our area according to the Storm Prediction Center's convective outlook, with our area being only under a general thunderstorm risk for the day. Notably, far over to our west in Texas and Louisiana, there was an isolated pocket of enhanced risk associated with the landfalling Hurricane Beryl. I mentioned Beryl because you'll actually be able to see it on the upcoming surface analysis charts, which I thought was neat. Referring back to the morning area forecast discussion, a combination of deep moisture and slow-moving thunderstorms would likely make for intense rain-making storms. With that in mind, the Weather Prediction Center put much of the First Coast under a marginal risk for excessive rainfall. The atmosphere was extremely unsettled across much of North Florida, with surface-based CAPE values ranging from above 3,000 to 4,000 for much of the afternoon hours area-wide. Some areas would even hit over 5,000 kilojoules of surface-based CAPE, which is extreme levels of instability. The mixed layer CAPE was also higher than usual, consistently hitting 3,000 across much of our area. With values this high on both fronts, it would be extremely easy for thunderstorms to blow up and then reach high into the atmosphere. The final big ingredient to help support thunderstorms for the day was the immensely deep tropical moisture in place. By the afternoon hours, precipitable water values were consistently reaching 2.2 area-wide, with a large chunk of our area getting up to 2.4, 2.6 by late afternoon. Again, this is some deep tropical moisture, because if you look over at Hurricane Beryl on the left side, the areas affected there are hitting the same range of values. Obviously, we were not under the direct influence of a tropical cyclone, so it's not an exact comparison, but you get the picture, it was muggy. Dew points hit 85 towards the peak heating hours, which in combination with an air temperature of 96.6 degrees, made for a broiling 129 degree heat index. When you go outside and you feel that type of heat, you know it's going to be one hell of a stormy day. With all of these ingredients set in place, it was only a matter of time before the powder keg was lit. Showers began to bubble up around the area towards 1 p.m., first forming to the northwest of Jacksonville and east of I-95 in the wake of the Atlantic sea breeze. Over the course of the next hour, downpours and isolated thunderstorms would become more widespread east of the St. Johns River and over much of Duval County. By 2:30 p.m., a large line of thunderstorms was located just north of downtown Jacksonville, with another linear cluster residing to the southeast of downtown. At 2:12 p.m., the first special weather statement of the day was issued for southeastern Duval County, with the outlined threats being 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts and minor flooding. At 2:32, a special weather statement would be issued for the cluster north of Jacksonville, with the threats including 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, excessive cloud-to-ground lightning, and flooding due to heavy rainfall. This area would quickly have a flood advisory issued on it 15 minutes later, with the alert stating that anywhere from a half inch to 2 inches of rain had already fallen in the area. Something that would become pretty apparent over the coming hours was the pulsing nature of the thunderstorms we were observing. Many thunderstorms that would form on July 8th would quickly flare up, last around 30 to 60 minutes, and then would rain themselves out and begin to weaken rapidly. If there was more wind shear in the area, we likely would have seen much longer-lived and probably severe thunderstorms. However, as is extremely common in Florida during the summer, meaningful wind shear was basically non-existent in the atmosphere above us. By 3 p.m., the previous two thunderstorms that had special weather statements on them had weakened below advisory criteria. These storms, along with other adjacent ones, began to produce outflow boundaries which would shoot forcibly out to the east and the southwest of this cluster. On the southwestern end, this caused yet another storm to quickly blow up in southwestern Duval County, which was given its own special weather statement at 3:18 p.m. This same boundary also helped storms in eastern Clay County develop, which would be the ones I would be chasing soon. The eastern outflow boundary caused rapid storm development along the beaches of Duval and Nassau counties, however these did not reach advisory or severe criteria. I arrived at a local field at around 3:50 p.m. to start recording the lightning that was coming off of the aforementioned storms in eastern Clay County. The particular storm I was eyeballing, located to the southeast of Green Cove Springs, had a special weather statement issued on it at 3:51 p.m., with the primary concerns being 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts, minor flooding, and excessive cloud-to-ground lightning. That last threat would be the most apparent, as soon after I started recording, I saw multiple bolts of lightning, accompanied by near constant rumbles of thunder. And this was on the backside of the storm, away from the most intense portion, along with being positioned around 8 to 10 miles behind it. Dude, we're out here. There's a storm a little far to the south. I don't know if we'll be able to see the bolts, but you can definitely see the flash. It is like near. Ooh, I think that was a bolt. Like near constant lightning. This is a violent storm. After a few minutes of watching the storm to the south, another storm to our west had rapidly bubbled up and was beginning to look more and more interesting on radar. However, I kept my attention on the southern storm for just a little bit longer. No problem. Bye. The bolts are a little hard to see from here, but I've definitely been seeing a few. I'm gonna turn the camera and hopefully I don't miss anything. If I do, oops. There's a giant, like, oh, I'm starting to see lightning from that too, towards home. So I might need to leave here in a few minutes and see what's going on over there. But for now, this is still the more intense storm, so keep an eye on it. Whoa. Holy, I don't know if that was in frame, but I saw that. That was definitely a lot closer than the rest of them. You're gonna hear that. Oh yeah. I saw another bolt over there. Is that maybe starting to come from behind? Oh, they went ahead and put up that special weather statement. After capturing a few more lightning strikes out of the southern storm, I decided to turn the camera towards the one approaching from the west. I figured with the southern storm beginning to move further away across the St. Johns, it would get much harder to see the lightning. I was also hoping to capture a bolt off the leading edge of the western storm, similar to the shot I got back on July 1st. You know, I'm going to try and turn the camera this way, because this is a little bit closer, and I'm starting to hear lightning. Well, thunder from lightning, rather. Trying to get a radar scope to show me if there's actually lightning. Yeah, a few strikes are starting. It's hard to say. We're in between two good storms right now. One that's been strong for a minute and one that could very well become strong quickly. That storm is putting out like a ridiculous amount of lightning to the south. It's getting pretty far now. It's starting to actually get over the St. Johns River and further past Green Cove Springs. I don't think we could really see it with the tree line unless lightning continues to strike towards the outer edges of the storm. But like that is near constant thunder the entire time I've been here. And probably a good 20 minutes before I came down here, I was hearing it. And a lot of the storm cells were kind of just pulsing and falling apart today, so I was like, I don't know if I missed a strike when I turned around, but that sounded a little close. Yay, there we go. I'm pretty sure we got that one. Fairly confident we got that one. Seems like it's starting to pick up the rate with the lightning. I'm seeing a lot more like flashes in there. Fresh. See how we're looking. I definitely think they are strikes because like you hear a boom of thunder after each one. It's just I don't think we can really see them from here. We're good, probably how many miles? Good 6-7 miles away, and they are also probably a lot of them are happening like inside the cell itself, under the rain shaft. Very active day. pretty sure we got that one. That one wasn't as bright as the first one, but I don't know. That seemed pretty. God damn, dude! I just turned around and there was another strike. Like, not from this storm though, but from the one to the south. This is insane. The ones to the south are a little harder to see. I'm guessing because they're further away. They look a bit more. I mean, I guess you could say lightning's kind of transparent, but they look more transparent from here. But these ones at least seem a little brighter. I don't know if there was a bolt on that, but that was definitely a flash that was low to the ground. So I am thinking that this storm in front of us is starting to intensify. The question is, does it actually move at all towards us? See if we'll actually get any rain at home today, because this is kind of looking like one of those days where the storms just go all around us. That storm to the south is still putting off. I saw another strike. Like I said, though, they're really far away. I don't think the camera would pick them up. Usually, camera seems to have trouble on daytime storms like this. With the storm to my west putting off less lightning, the storm to our south moving out of my line of sight, and rain beginning overhead, I decided to head home for the evening. Though I don't know if that rain is coming from the storm we're looking at, because like I said, it's really still not moving. It hasn't gotten much closer. I think the rain we're feeling is residual left over from the cell over to St. John's. I guess I'm going to go ahead and get moving just in case it is moving closer. I think I've already gotten enough lightning for today. And maybe we'll keep storming at home. That'd be nice. After I got home, the rain did eventually start. However, the storm that would have rolled overhead weakened dramatically by the time I made it there. A large area of stratiform rain would instead begin to fill in over much of Clay and Duval counties, the areas that had already seen their thunderstorm fill for the day. However, that was not the end of thunderstorms on the first coast, far from it. The outflow boundary that I mentioned earlier from the initial storms in Duval was still moving to the southwest the whole time, helping to spawn numerous heavy thunderstorms towards Alachua County. In addition to that, storms had finally made it into St. Johns County and towards the beaches near St. Augustine. By 7 p.m., a majority of the thunderstorm activity on the first coast had ended, with thunderstorms still lingering into south-central Georgia and far to our south near Ocala. Stratiform rain would be persistent, not clearing out of our area until around 9 p.m. Rain would finally come to an end area-wide by 11 p.m. Overall, I think it would be safe to say it was an extremely active day for thunderstorms. Pretty much every county within our viewing area got at least one thunderstorm, and if not, they definitely got in on some of the stratiform rain. There were numerous strong thunderstorms throughout the day, with a total of 15 special weather statements being issued. A singular severe thunderstorm warning was also issued later in the evening for primarily rural areas of Marion County, with the main threat being 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The first coast also received a good amount of rainfall, with the two major hotspots being to our south and north. According to radar estimates, the area to our south received a swath of 4 to 5.5 inches of rainfall, which affected portions of southern Putnam County and into northern Marion County. To our north, 2 pockets of 3 to 4 inches of rain occurred, one in western Duval County near Baldwin, and another to the east of NAS Jax where the National Weather Service is located. Once again, it was an extremely active weather day on the first coast. July really is the most interesting time of year when it comes to thunderstorms, as when you start reaching those consistent extreme levels of atmospheric instability, thunderstorms can absolutely explode with little notice. From there, it's just a matter of if they sustain themselves and what atmospheric conditions are around to help guide and support them. Taking a look at the echo tops area-wide, you could see numerous tall thunderstorms pop up throughout the day, noted by the dark oranges and bright yellow colors surrounded by dark greens. I hope you enjoyed my analysis of the thunderstorms we saw on July 8th. This day was only a taste of what would come later in the month, as we began to see even stronger thunderstorms and quite a few that hit close to home. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't already. It helps the channel reach a wider audience and it lets us know that you enjoy what we do here. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.